Howard Schultz, former CEO of Starbucks, going to run as a centrist independent because he doesn't think Trump is qualified and he thinks the Democrats are too far left. And in this, the mainstream or legacy media companies on the left and the Democrats and their supporters, in my opinion, have revealed the Democratic Party is fractured and they know it. Here's what I started thinking as soon as I heard that Howard Schultz was running. So what? But then all of a sudden I heard that the left wanted to boycott Starbucks. Dude doesn't work there anymore apparently, though I'm sure he has stock or something. I don't know. I don't know the guy's career. The point is, why are you worried if a centrist independent runs? The Democrats are campaigning on far left platforms like Medicare and College for All. Okay? He's not. Why would you be concerned about that? Oh, is it because we've just seen from the Pew Research Center, that Democrats, most of them, want a more moderate politician? Why isn't the narrative that this centrist independent will steal votes from Trump? Why are conservatives saying whatever and Democrats going, oh dear Lord? It's because conservatives feel like they're unified to an extent, right? The Pew Research said they mostly don't. But I think the real thing is Republicans know Republicans going to fall in line. But Democrats are concerned that there will be more defectors than the Republicans will have. Like there's going to be more Democratic defectors than Republican defectors. Why should that matter, though? I guess they've sort of, what this says to me is that the Democrats know their far left candidates aren't going to be able to win. And the only thing that unifies them is opposition to Trump. But if a new candidate emerges that can't be shut out in the primaries, the Democrats will lose, plain and simple. So let's read what CNN has to say, and we'll talk a little bit more about this idea. And you know what? I'm going to do this first. I got a funny story from Mediaite. Morning Joe asks Howard Schultz how much a box of Cheerios costs. He does not know. Look, a lot of far-left people are going to laugh when they see this. I don't know how much a box of Cheerios costs. $5? I don't buy cereal. I don't eat cereal. I don't actually have breakfast. I have a cup of cold brew coffee, which is relatively a new thing for me. I don't like drinking, too much caffeine, but I've started enjoying a nice cold brew. And then for lunch, I have like a turkey and Swiss. So no, I shop at Walmart and I don't know how much Cheerios cost. That's an absurd question. What they're trying to do is smear him as out of touch with the average person. But that's ridiculous because not everybody eats Cheerios. Even poor people don't necessarily eat Cheerios. And not only that, what if you're like, okay, so cereal's actually not super cheap, right? It's like, what, like $5 a box? I'm not going to buy that. I'm assuming it's like $5 a box. I could be wrong. But you have your bargain bin cereals. This is a ridiculous question. And what they're trying to do is drag Howard Schultz to an extreme degree to try and knock him out. But it doesn't matter, though. If he wants to run as a centrist independent, you can say whatever you want about him. It's not going to change anything. The primaries are going to weed out weak Democrats. I believe the Democrats are pretty much going to fall onto a far-left platform. But the funny thing about all of this, too, is that now Kamala Harris has backtracked, saying, at first she was like, let's do away with all of that. And people took that to mean she's saying get rid of all the private insurance and just do Medicare for all. But now she's walking back saying, no. Private insurance is fine. Oh, because you realized Democrats don't want to go far left. Most of them. Some of them do, 40%. Well, let's see what CNN drags him. Schultz is the answer no one is looking for. That's not true. I'm certainly looking for a centrist independent candidate. The possible entrance of former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz into the 2020 race as an independent candidate has made Democrats and some never-Trump Republicans really, 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 really nervous. Really? Here's my question. Shouldn't never-Trump Republicans be happy? Because wouldn't Schultz take votes away from Trump? Why are they assuming he won't? Is it because the Democrats are so fractured that they're going to defect? Yeah, I'd say so. Because look, I am someone who is, I don't want to say never Trumper because that's like more of the Trump derangement syndrome types, but I'll be honest, I would never vote for Trump. I'd probably never vote for a Republican presidential candidate, and I would only, it's a slight, like I barely want to vote for a presidential candidate as it is. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't vote for Kamala Harris. That's not going to happen. I might consider Howard Schultz, but I also, Starbucks, I really don't like Starbucks as a company and everything they've done. I'm not saying it's his fault, but Starbucks is a pretty skeezy corporation in my opinion, and they've done a bunch of really horrible things. So I don't know if any of these people are going to get my vote because I only vote on principle. I'm not going to vote for party. I'm not going to vote against anybody. I vote for someone who I think can represent me, plain and simple. So I'm a hard vote to get, and thus they probably will just ignore me. But I'll tell you what, a lot of my friends are just regular folks who are going to vote moderate. They don't care about far left, free college, all that nonsense. That freaks them out. They're working people. So they might actually go for this. The negative reaction has been swift and striking and somewhat surprising. The fear is that Schultz, with his $3 billion, can spend endlessly on a bid, get on ballots in every state, command attention on TV, and dilute the anti-Trump fervor felt by about 60% of the country. Bingo! The only thing unifying the opposition to Trump is that they are the opposition. They don't agree on policy, and because you can't knock Schultz out in a primary race, and he can get up on that stage and hold his own between the Democrats and the Republicans, the only thing that's going to happen is the anti-Trump fervor will be impacted. Plain and simple. The only thing the Democrats have right now is that they don't like Trump. Well, I'll tell you what, that's not a platform. No, it's not. And I assure you there's going to be a lot of people with their number one concern being the economy. They're going to say, listen, if your only position is you don't like Trump, I'm not interested. Okay? That's not enough. It'll get a lot of people for sure, but it's not enough. He should stick to coffee, Democratic Rep. Pramila Jayapal, who represents most of Seattle, quipped to reporters, including CNN's Ashley Killow on Tuesday. If he wants to run, he should run as a Democrat, added the Congressional Progressive Caucus co-chair. I don't understand why he's running as an independent. Because if he runs as a Democrat, you can remove him in a primary. And if he runs as an independent, he can just be an independent candidate on the stage, and he doesn't have to worry about competing against far-left characters. So look at it this way. If you have the Democratic Party, 51% want to go far left. And Howard Schultz enters that primary, he'll lose. However, if he chooses to run as an independent, their concern is that moderate Democrats will vote for him and fracture their base. Or I should say, their base is already fractured, and you're going to get moderate Democrats begrudgingly voting for that other 51% candidate. So, he seems to be criticizing everything, Pocan said. He wants to find his own lane to run in, but he doesn't seem, for a billionaire, to be especially astute to how politics is. And I'll say this too. Apparently, Schultz said that Trump isn't qualified, and The Intercept ran a story saying, okay, if Trump isn't qualified, why is Schultz? They're both just billionaires, entrepreneurs, and Schultz doesn't have political or military experience either. So what makes him think that he's more qualified than Trump is? Well, I'll say this. Trump is qualified. Because the only qualifications to be president are that you're a natural-born citizen, and you've been here at least 14 years, you're at least 35 years old. That's it. And it's on purpose. This is the point of a constitutional republic. Anyone can become president. Now, here's the problem. Here are the things I don't like. What I don't like about Schultz, I don't like the idea that we constantly elect billionaires and people like that to run. But it's very complicated, and you don't want to just look at the surface. Let's talk about some of the positives of a billionaire president. Can a billionaire president be bought? No, they can't. I think there's a lot of people who don't understand this, but I have some friends who are extremely wealthy, and a buddy of mine who became a millionaire as a teenager said that he was depressed for a long period of time, and that most of his friends who became wealthy, they grew up modest means and then become wealthy, have an existential crisis where there's just, what do you do? You're done. There's no struggle. There's no passion anymore. And so it actually took him a few years to get out of depression. And this is why there are many people who become wealthy and successful who just do drugs, overdose, and die. So the point I'm trying to make is, Howard Schultz, they can offer him money, they can offer him favors, and he's going to be like, dude, I'm a billionaire. And that's true for Trump, too. I don't think, so what do they say about Trump? Oh, not that they're trying to pay him off, but that they've got compromising information on him. Okay, well, just because someone's extremely wealthy doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And one of the arguments in favor of this is that he successfully ran, he's the cream of the crop. He figured out how to work in the system to make a bunch of money, and it succeeded. But I'll counter that by saying Starbucks notoriously does really horrible things, right? One of the things that they've notoriously been accused of is opening a Starbucks next to a mom and pop cafe, because Starbucks as a massive chain can eat the loss, right? So the mom and pop shop makes just enough to get by. All of a sudden, Starbucks opens up next door, and they're both losing money now because they've split the market. But Starbucks will last forever because it's being subsidized by thousands of other locations, and the mom and pop shop shuts down, and then all the business goes to Starbucks. I've seen things like this happen. I don't want to accuse Starbucks of deliberately doing that. It would take more research, but they've been accused of that. I have seen that happen to coffee shops and local shops, and then they get replaced by Starbucks. Not a fan. of Starbucks. I think their coffee tastes bad. Don't like it. So they say, and now for nobody except maybe Schultz, and for now, nobody except maybe Schultz actually thinks he can win the White House, given how strong the two-party system is. I think he could win. It's just a matter of, how much money he's going to spend, and will anyone support him? He could very likely be a spoiler. For who, though? Who is the Schultz voter? Is it the kind of voter who backed Green Party candidate Jill Stein in 2016? Absolutely not. Possibly taking away votes from Clinton? Or is it the kind of voter who backed Libertarian Party candidate Gary Johnson in 2016? Absolutely not. Possibly taking votes away from Hillary Clinton? Or did Johnson take votes away from Trump? I actually do think that the people who would be more likely to vote for Schultz are going to be centrist Democrats who are sick of seeing the left get fractured. And this is the Democrats' fault, plain and simple. And that's why they're coming after Schultz, because he has found a hole in their market. I wouldn't want to run as a Democrat either, right? With the far left rhetoric and all these things, and he's talked about that, so I'm not surprised he's running as an independent. But you have to realize the data shows it. Democrats want mostly a moderate candidate. And if for whatever reason, these Democrats chase after the narrative of a fringe minority, you're going to lose. I don't think they're going to win. I think the Democrats are too fractured. And I'll say this. I sort of predicted this. I've been saying this for months, for almost a year now. The Democrats are being fractured by the far left, and they're not going to be able to form a coalition to go up against Trump, maybe even a Republican in 2024. If Trump is out by 2024, and the only thing unifying Democrats is the resistance, you're not going to be able to win. And you're going to see centrist independents who say, you know what, the left has gone crazy. I need to run as a centrist, and they're going to steal your votes. Plain and simple. This is just showing us the Democrats know they are fractured. Stick around. I got another video coming at 4 p.m. on youtube.com/Timcast. I'll see you then.